today's episode we are speaking to Mrs Amal Seif, who was one of the founding members of the Coptic Church and Coptic community in Melbourne, Australia. Amal, thank you very much for your time today. Could you please tell the audience your memories and reflections about your migration and journey to Australia?
My name is Amal Seif, the wife of Alphonse Seif. I migrated from Cairo. At Cairo, I was at university doing my PhD. During that time, I have a couple of friends rang us and said, "We like to go to Ismailia this Friday. Are you interested to come with us?" I said, "Yes, thank you, I will. We will." So we went to Ismailia in a club, and during that time there is a big ship passing by, and one of the friends standing up, she talked about it and said, "Hello, hello, hello." Then I said to her, "How did you say hello to the people you don't know?" She said, "My daughter went to Australia," and I asked, does Australia want migrants? She said yes. So my husband heard the news while I was talking to her. He went to embassy of Australia and he asked for forms to complete so we could migrate. I completed the 2 forms. And in 3 weeks, one of the embassy said to me, "We like you to come and before that, we like you to go and have medical test." We went and have medical test. Another 3 weeks, they said, "Come because we want to ask you questions." We went and see that person in the embassy. And he said to me, "You have written down you are a chemist. Are you a chemist? Do you study chemistry?" I said, "Yes, and I am now doing my master's degree in chemistry and nearly I finish it up." And he said, "Right, if you are a chemist, you will find a job in Australia." And then they said to my husband, "You are an accountant, you can't find a job. Because we have many young people, they can start, but we need chemistry in Australia." So I said, "Yes, I like to come." After I finish all the things, just prepare ourselves to migrate to Australia, and then we left Egypt. On 28th of February 1967, we arrived here 17th of March 1967. The trip was very, very good, very relaxing music. We have meals there, and being there 17 days was excellent. We arrived to Melbourne, and why did we choose to settle down in Melbourne, not in Sydney, although we paid the money to go to Sydney? Because I have written 2 letters before I come, and these letters, one to Melbourne University and one to Sydney University. Melbourne University welcome you, and you're going to study PhD, so come. Sydney University said, "We don't know you. You have to have an interview with you, and we decide." Then I said to Alphonse, "We go to Melbourne because they accepted me. Why should I wait for Sydney to say yes or no?" So we just arrived in Melbourne and stay in South Melbourne, very close to the market. And during that time, we concerned about the culture. It's different from our culture, the language, trips, how we're going to travel. But we settled down quickly, and then I arranged to go to Melbourne University to tell them I came already and I want to start the PhD. Dr. Koch, he's a vice professor of Melbourne University. I gave him my PhD, my master thesis, and I said, here it is my master degree, and here is my qualification. Do you want anything? He said, no, this is enough. So he said, come back in 3 months, and I'll tell you where you stand, but you can start PhD not in March, come in October this year. So I work in a factory, and the factory there was called Holden Factory. And after that, I stayed 3 months. Then I found there is an ad in The Age, which is a newspaper in Melbourne. They want chemist. So I applied to be a chemist in that in the government. Then when I went and they interviewed me, they just accepted me as a chemist. But the salary was not as a chemist. The salary was lab assistant. After 3 months, Dr. Koch have read my thesis, a master degree thesis, which has been completed in Egypt. And he said to me, your qualification, exactly the qualification of Melbourne, master degree in Melbourne, you have a very high standard, and he gave me a certificate to say Amal Seif can work as a chemist, and she is the same like Australian. So I went and I showed it to my boss here when in the chemistry department, and he said that's good. During that time, I went to Melbourne University, and I said, when I could study, he said, no, come back in October and we will accept you. I went in October and I started my PhD. It took from me 4 years. Started in 1968 until 1971. And I did diploma of education for 1 year to be a teacher. And I have my 2 daughters, Judy and Jackie. So I have done 3 things at the same time. Study my PhD, looking after my 2 young daughters, looking after my husband, and I doing my diploma of education. So I try hard to be able to do it, complete it. That during this time in Melbourne, we like to go to our church because we used to go to the church every week, but we couldn't find an Egyptian church. So we went to the different churches, and once we found Dr. Minister for All Nations Church. We were so happy because by headphones you can listen to the translation of the Mass in Arabic. So we listened, we went a couple of times, but after that Alphonse said, we want Coptic Orthodox Church. So we met all the Copt people at one house first, and then Alphonse was the leader of that committee because he was Shamas, the deacon in Egypt. So he started to lead the people about hymns, reading the Agbeya, reading the Bible, and we stay there every Sunday. And then Abu Namin and Amatullah was coming to go to Sydney. We sent him a letter to say, please, Sydney before, after Melbourne. So can you come to Melbourne before you go to Sydney? And we like you to conduct a church. And he said yes. So we're so happy. Every Coptic person come and say, oh, we'll have a mass on that day when Abu Namin and Amatullah has arrived. It was afternoon. So when we went to the church, he conducted a mass, and we have communion. And we were so happy, because this is the first communion we have after 2 years. And yes, everything. Julie, my daughter, was born in 21st of September 1969. 68. And my younger daughter, Jackie, was born in 29th of August 1971, and they grew up in Melbourne, and they haven't seen Egypt at all.
And after Abu Namin and Amatullah came to Melbourne on the 24th of January 1969 to conduct the first Coptic liturgy in Australia, what significant events happened after that in terms of Abu Namin and Amatullah helping the Coptic Church of Melbourne?
We asked Abu Namin and Amatullah if he can come every month, once Saturday, and to conduct a mass here, and we have, because we really need a church here. And he said, yes, I will. And he continued to come every month on Saturday, and he conducted mass, and we have communion.
And Abu Namin and Amatullah came for 2.5 years to Melbourne every month until Abuna Victor Raphael was the priest for Melbourne and Victoria. And how would you describe the relationship that the Coptic community had with Abu Namin and Amatullah, and also with Abuna Victor?
The committee were so proud of Abu Namin and Amatullah because he conducted mass. He never said, I'm sorry, I'm sick or anything. He always there on time, and we always meet together and we have communion, have mass and communion, and that was lovely. And when Babuna Victor came, we liked him to have our own priest, because the ambassador said to him, Melbourne wants a priest, and please go to Melbourne. And he wasn't a priest, he was just a normal person. But because ambassador said to him, he answered his request, and he came here. Everybody loved him, and we were so good. And we tried to collect money, and Abuna Victor bought the church. Is called St. Virgin, a church in
Kensington.
Kensington. Yes. And it was 47,000, and that was a lot of money, because in that time, when I was chemist, I just only get $4,000 a year. So $40,000 is a lot of money. But we purchased St. Mary in
Kensington.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could say it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Amal, thank you very much for giving your time today and reflecting on the many stories since your migration to Melbourne, Australia in 1967, and marking the occasion of 50 years since the first Coptic liturgy in Melbourne and in all of Australia by Abuna Mina Namatala. We appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.